Hello patrons, this is Gayle. I just wanted to thank you for being so patient with me while I've gone through this rough spell with my dog. I know if you're not a dog lover, you don't understand. And, but it's been a tough 3 weeks. And I'm feeling better now. I'll talk more about it in my next chat video. But I just wanted to thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate you so much, and I did this cane for you today. Every time I have asked for suggestions on things to do, the majority of you come back and say, "Well, I love making canes." So since I love making canes, I decided I would do one today that I've been wanting to do, but it was a little too complicated, and I messed up a little bit, but I think I fixed it pretty well. So you'll get to see that part too. But I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you and enjoy this video. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone. This is Gayle. And today I'm going to be I'm going to make a pansy cane for you. I don't know about where you live, but here in Virginia, when the weather gets cold in the fall, everybody plants pansies, and they will bloom all winter long. Even in the snow, you'll see these little pansies pop their heads up. So there's so many different variations and colors. So I thought I would just start with a simple one. And I'll try to use some generic terms so that if you decide to use different colors, you can. But I'm going to have a light, a medium, and a dark color of clay. And they're all rolled out to the thickest setting of the pasta machine. And then I cut sheets that are about 3 by 6 inches. Now, I used a whole pack. This is the purple that's left over. I conditioned a whole pack. And when I trimmed my piece, this is all I had left. So you might want to start with a whole pack of whatever colors you choose to use. But I'm going to use, this is Primo Wisteria. Of course, this is white, and this is Primo Purple. And the first thing I'm going to do is to cut these into 3 sections. So they'll be about 2 inches wide. I think I was going to try to cut them together, but I think that's just going to make it too complicated. So let me cut this one first, and I'll line it up on my grid here. There we go. And I'm going to cut, since these are 3 by 6, if I cut 3, they're going to be 2 inches wide. And I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to set it aside for later. And these two I'm going to just line up here. Then I'm going to take my white, or your lightest shade, and I'm going to cut that into 2-inch sections. Go lay one of those aside. And then I'm going to take my medium color, and when I tried to pull it up a little while ago, it kind of ripped, but it's okay. It's just I need to heal it. And you can see I had it up against the purple. Actually, I used this as a template to cut my purple, and it stuck to the purple, but that's okay. No problems there. So let me line that up on the line. And I think I'll trim this a little bit just because it's a little off shape. And then I'll cut this in 2-inch pieces. Now this is a method that and I'm setting one of these aside. This is a method I learned from Marla Frankenberg, if you've ever met her. This is something that she did at, Well, actually, she didn't do it at her workshop. I attended one of her workshops, and she had been known for this pansy cane. So she showed us how to do it there, and then later it was published in Polymer Cafe magazine. So it's okay for me to share it with you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out the way that I want them. I want the dark, the light, and then the medium. I'm going to take my roller. Well, I'm not even going to worry about the roller. I'm just going to pinch. Pinch the edge of your medium color that's going to go against your lightest color. And it'll ruffle a little bit, but that's okay. And then I would pinch the corresponding edge of the lightest color. And Marla, if you're watching this and I don't do it right, I'm sorry, but you know it's been many years. And then I'm going to just kind of put these together where the two thin sections overlap. Then I'm going to take the white. I probably ought to pick it up. Do the same thing. And again with the purple, which is your darkest color. Just thin these edges. And the goal is to make a sheet of the three colors that's about the same width as your pasta machine. And my pasta machine is a little over 5.5 inches. Let's see what this is. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5.5. And we're going to take this. We're not going to make a Skinner blend. We're just going to run it through the pasta machine this way one time. Alright, so we've got that. We're going to do the same thing again with the second set. And it's identical to what we just did. Just pinch the edges to make them thinner so that you don't have too big of a thickness where the two come together. I loved Marla's term. She said something like, well, like when you've got a piece of clay that you want to get a little bit smaller, and you push it in this way. She called that a smock and pooch. So I forgot what she called this. I probably have it written down in a notebook somewhere, but goodness knows where that notebook is. And then again on the other side of your light color, or your white in this case. And once I'm doing the simple with just two colors now, two shades of the same color, but you can use any colors. If you look at pansies, some of them are purple and yellow, some of them are blue and different colors of blue with no white. Some are, there's just so many different colors. So when you think in the terms of light, medium, and dark, your light could be yellow, and your medium could be blue, and your dark could be purple. That would make a pretty pansy. But I didn't want to make this one too complicated. So then I'm going to take this one and put it through my pasta machine. And then I'm going to layer these. And I'm going to roll this through the pasta machine. There we go. So I will set it this way. And I'm going to slice, let's see how wide this is. Still right at 6 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. Then I'll come up 1.5 inches. And 1.5 inches, and that'll give me 4 pieces. And what you're going to do is stack these on each other. Let me just cut these little nibs off and make it a little bit easier to work with. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom one. See those little places where I pinched? I'll just cut those off. And you see what we have is this kind of cane. So now what we're going to do is we want this to get long this way. So what we need to do is start pushing it in on each side. And then roll it out wide. Once it gets a little narrower, this is her smock and pooch is what she called it. And you do it on each end and try to get your middle in about the same way. And then just kind of stretch it out a little bit, and you keep doing this excuse me, keep doing this till it's about 2 inches wide and a lot longer. So once it gets narrow enough, you can start pushing with your fingers this way. I'll cut this end off because it's looking pretty nasty. Well, we need to get this purple in a little bit. I think the light purple is in pretty well, so let's just work on the purple here. And believe it or not, this will get to be about, because if you notice it's different thicknesses, you should roll it every once in a while to get this to be the same thickness. But we want this to get to be about 1 inch wide, and however long that makes it, maybe 6 to 8 inches. And don't worry about your lines inside getting twisted and turned, because that's part of the beauty of this. Because remember, flowers are flowers. And they're not perfect. You see a lot of artists draw flowers that are, you know, pretty perfect. Each petal looks the same, but if you look at a real flower in nature, they're not the same at all. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Let me roll this so it'll be the same thickness. And let's just cut the end off and see what we've got. See what we have here? Probably should make the white a little bit smaller, but I'm not going to worry with it right now. So now, what I'm going to do, let's line this up on a line, 2, 4, 6, 7. Let's just go out to 8 inches. I think that'll do it. Trim off a little bit here and a little bit here. Now I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. So I'll cut it in half here and then cut this in half. These will be 2 inches long. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just heard somebody at my door. I'll be right back. I apologize for that. It was the UPS guy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 2 of these and put them together. And I'm going to pinch into a petal shape. And you want to round this off. Actually, I don't think I wanted them together yet, but I'll just have to make do with what I did. I should have made the petal shape first. Let me do it with this one. Make the petal shape first. Pinch the dark end into a point and round the medium colored end so it's a little round. Make it sort of look like a petal. And if you feel like there's too much purple in here or too much of your darker color, you can trim a little bit of that off, which I think I'm going to do, and just go trim off a little bit of the purple. And I'll do the same with this one. I'll pinch this purple into a point, then I'll cut some of it off. Something about the dark color, it just seems to grow. I think I'm going to squish these in a little bit. They're a little bit too long and skinny. Probably shouldn't have gone out to 8 inches, but so what I'm going to do now is put these together. Let me squish this one in a little bit. So push them in together, and this makes a large bottom petal. Make it round. You don't want to lose this little crease too much, but make it look like a petal. And then I'm going to take one of my cane benders. This is the 1/2 inch. I think that's going to be a little bit too big. Let me go down to the next size. I don't know where all these colors of clay came from all of a sudden, but I'm going to kind of press here and make an indentation. And I have conditioned some yellow, and I'm going to trim it to the size of the cane. And this is, I think it's cadmium yellow, for those of you that need a color reference. And I just need a piece just about the width of this curve on the inside. And to make it a little bit easier to get in there, I'm going to kind of curve it around this and lay it in here. Except you need to lay it in straight, and I didn't do that. So I'll just lay it in there and then put this in there. And then I have rolled some green, and I'll reshape that in a minute. This came out of my drawer of open clay, and I'm thinking it looks like bright green pearl maybe, but it doesn't look pearl-like. So it's not wasabi. I'm not sure what color it is. Maybe it's just a bright green. But it was the color that I wanted. And let me get out my long acrylic plate. I want to get it all the same width. And I'll cut this the same width as the cane. And put this down in the middle, and then kind of pinch the tip up again. If you've ever looked at a pansy, you're going to need to reshape this too, because in pressing down with the rod, it's going to flatten out your petal. So you need to round out the top of your petal again. And I'm just trimming off these edges where the yellow is sticking out a little bit, because I don't want it to stick out and get over the end. But this will be your bottom petal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the purple that's left over, and I'm going to roll a very thin sheet. Let me get it into a solid form first. Okay, now my pasta machine was still set at the thickest setting. And you see me just ripping pieces off because it's very uneven. So now I'm going to, let me run it through one more time on the thickest setting, and I'm going to go as thin as I possibly can. I'm going to go first to a number 3. Then I'm going to go down 2 slots at a time. So this is a number 5. And I'm going to go down even thinner. Even though this is very thin, I still don't want it this thick. I want it to be paper thin. And this might do it. We'll see. Because what I want to do now is wrap the bottom part, say from here all the way around to the white over there. I want to wrap this in the darker color, just so it'll define your petal. And I'm going to just cut a straight line. Lay the edge of the white. See, I'm looking, I know you can't see. Let me move my camera just a little bit. I don't think it's going to help a whole lot. But I'm going to lay right here up against that purple. And make sure it matches on the other side. And then roll this around. It's almost perfect. Just a little bit here that I can cut off. And I cut off too much. But I'll just, because this is very thin, I can still put that on there. And all this is going to do is define your petal. It's not going to do a whole lot, but you'll see in a minute where this comes in really handy. So now I've got these two that I pushed together earlier. See if I can get them apart now. And I'm also going to cut some of the purple off of these. And put these into a petal shape. It's going to look a little weird though because I've already compressed these. But I will try to round it off as best as I can. I may even be able to take this piece. No, I want to use that. Never mind. I can take this piece. Take a little bit of this lighter purple. I don't know how this is going to work. I've never done this before, so you're going to be learning with me. I'm just going to make a little snake. And put the snake along the top. Just to add some bulk to that color. Sorry. Try to round this off. I may have ruined the shape of this. Let me push it in a little bit. That'll also give me more of the lighter color to play with. Making it a little bit shorter. And I'm going to wrap this in purple. And now that I know how much to use, I might just trim these edges off. And again, just put it up from the white, wrong way, from the white all the way around to where the white is over here. And just pull it a little bit if you have to, just to get it to cover up the white. This is going to be another petal, even though I messed it up. Picture it. Picture this as a fatter petal. But I'm going to take this and put it on this side, overlapping that. Guess it would be better if I pinch this purple back into a point. Just overlap just a little bit. I'm sorry I messed this up. I don't want to have to start over, so I'm going to try to fix what I can. And this one I'm just going to scrunch up a little bit. Pinch the purple. I've already cut the purple off of it. See, this is a prettier petal shape than the other one was. So we'll have a couple of ugly petals, but that's okay. Like I said, it's a flower. And do the same thing here. Just cover up the white. Just stretch it a little bit to cover these little pieces of white. Pinch your purple into a point and come in on the other side and come up to the green. Let me cut this end off just so we can see what we're doing. But we're forming our little pansy face. And then I'm going to take these two colors that are left. Maybe I'll go ahead and use all three. This time I am going to make a Skinner. No, I'm just going to use the top, the two little ones. But I am going to make a Skinner blend this time, so that means I will cut this diagonally and cut this diagonally and just fold the white into a right angle. Fold the purple. You just have to turn the other piece into a right angle. Put them together. Offset them a little bit. And that's not right. It's this way. You should end up with a square. Cut off your little points. And I'm pushing these together. And I'm going to run this through the pasta machine and make a Skinner blend. And then I'll be back. Okay, and you can probably see it's not totally blended, but that doesn't matter with what I'm going to be doing with it. Let me get this thin purple sheet out of the way before I totally destroy it. But what I need to do is to make a plug. So I'm going to fold this in half and run this through the pasta machine on the number 3 setting. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. And run it through at the number 3 setting. And now I'm going to go down to a number 5. And I'm going to fold this end in just because I don't want it to get lost. And I think I'm going to go down to a number 7. I'm going to make this really thin. And I tore off the end of my white because it was so thin. And I did it the wrong way, but I'll go ahead and I'm going to fan fold this. And I'm going to put this back. How did I have this? Must have been that way. See, you can always fix something, but I'm going to fan fold this, make it about 1 inch wide. And I'm going to flatten it down at each step because I don't want there to be any air in it. And what we're going to have is a little stack gradually going from white, from the light color to the medium color. You can use either 2 colors you wanted. I could have used the medium and the dark, which is probably what I should have done, but I was trying to keep this simple. I think it's short enough now that I can pick it all up. It's really tricky when you're working with something this thin. And don't worry about the edges being equal because I'm going to trim those off. Or depending on what it looks like, I may not. Sorry, I stopped talking, didn't I? Give y'all a break. I'm just going to fold that tag on over. The only thing I'm going to trim is I'm going to trim this little piece here that was an overlap. And I'm going to trim this white. That's also an overlap. And then make this into a plug. I'm going to make sure it's all compressed good first. Start pressing on the ends to make sure. See, we have a nice graduated stack. And I'm just going to make it into a plug. And in this case, I want the white to be near the bottom and the dark color to be near the top of this plug. Because I'm going to make this into a petal shape. So I'm going to pinch the white into a point. And then keep the top rounded off. And this is going to be the top petal for my pansy. These should have been a little bit fatter and up a little bit higher, but because I messed them up, they're not quite the way they should be. Let me cut this end off so it'll be straight. So I could set it up like this. And again, I'm going to wrap this, but I'm going to wrap this one all the way around, except at the very bottom. I don't want the very, well, no, I think I'll wrap the bottom too. So let me do it this way this time in order to have enough. And just roll this around. And I think this time I want to cover the white also here at the point. Now my cane, let me squish it down a little bit. That helps to make these side petals a little bit fatter if I squish it down. So this is going to be now about 1.5 inches tall. So I'm going to reduce this down to 3 inches, which is double. And that little piece of white doesn't really matter. So I'm going to reduce this down to about 3 inches. These are like the back petals that are kind of behind these other petals. So, you know, you'll see when I finish. I just hope it turns out, after all this work, I would hate for it to look dumb. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so that's 3 inches. Let me just cut off the ends. And then cut this in half. And one of them is going to go in here as a big petal that's kind of coming through. And this one I want to trim a little bit of this off. I think I want to trim this side. Trim it down. And you see we're losing the wrap, but that's going to make this look like it's coming in from behind this petal. And just make sure everything matches on the other end. This isn't very pointed, so let me push that in there. And this is a pansy. Hope you see a pansy. I see a pansy. Let me take it in a little bit closer so you can see it. These two top petals I still need to play with a little bit. But I think you get the idea. And just pay attention, I did lose my little groove there. But here is where you have to make a decision, and I don't know what I'm going to do with mine yet, so I'm not going to do anything right now. But here you make the decision whether you want to leave it just like this and reduce it and slice it, or if you want to put packing in these little grooves to keep so it will not get round on you when you try to reduce it. And the packing would be whatever the background color is that you're going to put this on. And since I don't know that, I don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to just leave mine like this. And then if I decide to reduce it down, I will fill it in. But there you go. So here is the pansy cane. I hope you like it as much as I do. I just need to decide what I'm going to do with it. I love to make canes, but then I never know what to do with them when I make them. So that's one of my problems. So what a problem to have so many canes you don't know what to do with them. So I will be back again soon with another polymer clay video. Thanks again for your support. Bye-bye.